Back at Cleveland Browns Stadium, getting set for the Browns and the Chiefs. Overcast and a chilly day here in Cleveland, but all things considered, not bad. 44 degrees. The two coaches, Romeo Crennel was, of course, the head coach here in Cleveland from 05 to 08. Obviously, difficult and heart-wrenching circumstances for Romeo over the last 8 days, but a win last week, and he has been a rock for this Kansas City organization. Pat Shurmur talked with us about the admiration that he has for how Romeo has handled this situation. Over on the football side of things, he's been pleased with the play of his Browns as they come in today having won 4 of their last 7 after that 0-5 start. Cleveland won the toss. They've deferred to the second half, so the Chiefs will have the football to start the game. Sean Drone back deep for Kansas City. Phil Dawson set to kick it away. And here we go from Cleveland. Out of the end zone. They'll bring it out to the 20-yard line. Brady Quinn brings the Chiefs out on offense. The Browns' first-round pick in 07, coming off what many think might have been the best performance of his NFL career last week against Carolina, the AFC Offensive Player of the Week, as he went 19 of 23 for 201 yards and 2 touchdowns in leading the Chiefs to the win with really unprecedented circumstances, obviously, given the tragic events that had unfolded in Kansas City the day before. So Kansas City will start 1st and 10 from their own 20. Jamal Charles, nice hole, and a big gain, and Charles is loose. Jamal Charles up the sideline, and he will score for Kansas City on the first play from scrimmage.
The Kansas City Chiefs starting with a home run on the first pitch. They came out with Dwayne Bowe in the backfield with 3 players in the backfield, broke that formation, watched the adjustment by the Browns, and then ran off right tackle. Jamal Charles just weaving through the traffic. We spoke to the Browns coming in. They understood the kind of player Jamal Charles is. Outside of Tennessee and Chris Johnson, Jamal Charles is a home run hitter. Fast, elusive, and a physical runner. They knew he was a good back, and he proved it on the first play.
Ryan Succop on to convert the extra point, so stunning opening play for the Kansas City Chiefs. And they take the early lead here in Cleveland, 7-0. The Chiefs score again on their opening possession. They did it last week against Carolina. Last week was their first touchdown on an opening possession in 2 years. Josh Cribbs brings it out across the 25-yard line. And let's take another look at the touchdown run by Charles.
Charles is going to come out and make this move. The move that really sets it off is when TJ Ward comes up and tries to make it. There's so much space. Ward has really no chance to stop this play from being a home run. Watch as Charles weaves through the 8-man front and watches so much space. The TJ Ward just can't get there. He takes a bad angle, and Charles has so much space, can set him up for the cutback, and it's a foot race.
So the Browns will have their opening possession, trailing 7-0 here early in the first. Richardson, the deep back.
And now the Browns having trouble getting lined up for their first play.
He gets everybody set and takes off. Some running room. We talked about this last week, Steve. He is much more mobile than you think. A gain of 15 yards. Well, it's a 29-year-old rookie quarterback. Huge day last Sunday in Oakland. 25 of 36 for a Browns rookie record of 364 yards. He commanded that key fourth-quarter drive as the Browns marched 94 yards in 14 plays to get the game-winning score. Big pickup there. The ball spotted just past the 40-yard line. Richardson up the middle. Tough yards inside. Takes it out to the 45, a pickup of 4. Let's take a look at the Browns up front, where they are very good. Thomas and Mack are Pro Bowlers. They added Michael Schwartz, the rookie out of Cal, who has played well at right tackle. And the rookies are stepping up as well as the backs and receivers. Richardson, another solid day last week, but Josh Gordon on his way to being a consistent big play threat for Cleveland. 6 catches for 116 yards last week. 2nd and 6. Play action. Whedon under pressure and sacked. Sacked back at the 40-yard line by Tamba Hali, who picks up his 7th sack of the season.
Well, Hali comes around the tight end and the left tackle. Both those guys are going to double team him. They just can't get off the ball in time. As you see, that's Ben Watson trying to get back in time. Joe Thomas is there to help as he comes back, but Hali is already so deep. A very deep drop by Whedon, trying to let a deep pass play develop, and it just took too long.
Chiefs have been good at pressuring the quarterback this season. So now 3rd and long for Cleveland, and a whistle and flags before the snap. Walt Anderson, our referee today.
And this
false start, snap infraction, number 55, offense. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
Call that on the center, Alex Mack. Let's take a look at the Kansas City defense. The rookie Poe has played well. The Chiefs' #1 draft pick out of Memphis. Linebackers, as you've seen, are fast. They can get after the quarterback. Tamba Hali with the sack a few moments ago. Justin Houston came in with 10 quarterback sacks. Secondary not at full strength. Eric Berry at strong safety is playing hurt, but he's going to help try to contain these receivers for the Cleveland Browns. Josh Gordon. And he will get just past the original line of scrimmage, and that'll bring up 4th down. Jaleel Brown and Derek Johnson combined to make the stop.
Well, you talk about the sack and then a 5-yard penalty, and that brings up a 3rd and long that you're just not going to pick up all that often. Gordon comes out, is open, but it's a short route that the Chiefs are perfectly willing to let the Browns complete and then come up and make the tackle, just as what happened, and brings up a 4th and 10 and the punting situation. Bad situation to begin with for the Browns.
Hodges punts it away to Javier Arenas. Tries to track it down. It takes a Kansas City bounce and goes out of bounds. 12:05 left to go in the first. Chiefs lead it 7-0. For a complete pro football coverage, including everything you need to know about this weekend's matchups all the way through Super Bowl 47, visit cbssports.com/NFL. Second possession for the Chiefs after that quick strike, 80-yard touchdown run by Jamal Charles. 1st and 10 from their own 21-yard line. Left side, Charles bangs his way out to the 25-yard line. Pickup of 5. Chiefs have had to make some adjustments up front. Eric Winston has been steady over there at right tackle. Backs and receivers. The Chiefs offense is about establishing the run, and Jamal Charles came in today looking for his 3rd consecutive 100-yard game already. Has about 85 yards, so 15 yards shy of another 100-yard effort already. 2nd and 5. Charles. And that time the Browns were ready. Otava Rubin made the stop. The Cleveland defense has come on here in the second half of the season. One of the big reasons is the play up front. Phil Taylor and Otava Rubin both back healthy and playing well. DeQuell Jackson was the AFC Defensive Player of the Week 2 weeks ago. Always seems to be underrated. The leader of this Cleveland defensive unit. And in the secondary, the veteran Sheldon Brown usually gets overshadowed by his teammate Joe Hayden, but he made some big plays last week in the win on the road against the Raiders. After the loss, 3rd of 8 and 8 facing the Kansas City Chiefs from the shotgun. Win with time. Across the middle, Bow. And he's got a big gain and a Kansas City 1st down, finally brought down by DeQuell Jackson out at the 46-yard line, a gain of 23.
Yeah, this is one of the things that has been, really frustrating for Kansas City fans as you see Bow come out. Well, plenty of time for this route to develop. And I think it's been frustrating for Kansas City fans because this is a team that shows a lot of offensive talent, but they've gotten quarterback play that has turned the football over so often, particularly early in the season on the slow start. They never got a chance to really develop.
And they give it to Peyton Hillis. who draws the ire of the fans here in Cleveland. Of course, a former Brown is engaged in a bit of acrimonious back and forth with the former teammate Joe Thomas this past week. Willis scored his first rushing touchdown of the season last week against Carolina with 19 yards on 12 carries for the day.
Cleveland fans never been shy about expressing their opinion.
Jamal Charles checks back in the game, 2nd and 7. And they fake the same play action up the sideline, and Bo has it.
Well, Bo got away with a push on Joe Hayden.
Hayden looked like he was in perfect position, and yet the ball just sailed out of his reach, may even have been tipped.
A fake quick screen, then play action, then down the sideline. Watch right here as Bo, right there, gave him the push on the shoulder and got the separation. They were tangled up, and one last little stiff arm on the shoulder of Joe Hayden gave Bo the impetus to get up and get that football as a no call by the official. Joe Hayden, a guy a lot of teams have trouble throwing to him because he does cover guys up so well, but not on that one. Bo getting loose.
Hillis, right side. Billy Wynn had the initial penetration.
Here in the early going with Kansas City in their pass game, as you saw, a quick fake screen and then a play action, doing so much to help Brady Quinn buy enough time in the pocket to let his receivers work. It's been an issue when you get a lot of fumbles, particularly from your quarterback position. A lot of times it's because of the pressure and the lack of ability to stand in the pocket and hold the football and protect it. Too many guys taking swipes at it.
The red zone has been an issue for the Kansas City offense all season long. Quinn. Oh, that was almost an unbelievable catch by Steve Moneri. Almost a one-handed grab for the touchdown, but couldn't quite bring it in, so it'll be 3rd and goal.
Well, Frosty, or actually DeQuell Jackson, plants Brady Quinn right in the backfield, which is the reason for the high throw. Quinn can't get everything he wants on this. It's still a pretty good throw and almost an outstanding effort, but the pressure at the front end by DeQuell Jackson really kept that from being completed.
Jamal Charles has checked back in. He's to the right of Brady Quinn. Tipped away, and that'll bring up 4th down. A nice defensive play by T.J. Ward, the strong safety.
Yeah, he ends up in one-on-one coverage with Moeaki. Moeaki's going to go right to the goal line and then try and shuffle to a spot where Quinn can gun it in there. You see there, Moeaki looked like he was going to shuffle out. Quinn thinks he's going to continue and throws it out there. Moeaki trying to just get a little more separation. He faked his own quarterback out, and that gives Ward the chance to bat it away.
Ryan Succop to try a 22-yard field goal, 25 of 28 in field goal tries this season. And now we've got a flag.
False start, number 66, offense. 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
Yeah, the Chiefs tried a hideout play with Dwayne Bowe at the bottom of the field. They had the field goal unit on and then had a wide receiver out by the sidelines trying to catch the Browns unaware. Joe Hayden caught it and went out and covered him.
So now it's a 27-yard attempt for Succop, who has been steady, but 2 of his 3 misses have come inside the 40. And that bangs up against the goalpost. And a missed opportunity for the Kansas City Chiefs after the big pass play to Dwayne Bowe.
And this is just a pull. You've got to make those in the NFL.
Ryan Succop, the first time that he has missed a field goal try inside of 30 yards in his career. As we mentioned, he has missed 2 from 30 to 39 yards earlier this season, but that was certainly a missed opportunity. The red zone woes continue for the Kansas City Chiefs, and the Browns take over 1st and 10 from their own 20. Richardson, 5 find some running room. Out to the 24. Trent Richardson has become the workhorse of this Cleveland offense. The Browns' leading rusher with 827 yards and 7 touchdowns. Also Cleveland's leading receiver, Steve, with 44 catches coming in.
Yeah, coming in today, he's touched the ball, carried it on handoffs, 229 yards. That is a big season, and they've still got 3 or 4 games left. I mean, this is a guy who has gotten a full share of work in his first year.
Averaging 95 yards a game over the last 5 weeks. The sideline to Josh Gordon, who has really emerged. Steps out of bounds at a first down for the Cleveland Browns, a gain of 15.
Yeah, you can almost feel and watch Josh Gordon getting better every week. He realizes how physically gifted he is. He's got enormous hands and the ability to pluck the ball out of the air, but week by week he has become more and more an elite receiver for the Browns and the big number 1.
39. Just moving that pile, forcing the pile past the 45-yard line. Some hard running from the rookie out of the University of Alabama, Richardson.
That is such an effective run because it forces the defense just to jump on the pile and stop him.
A little bit more about Trent Richardson. Last week, 72 yards, but those were tough, hard-fought yards. Had the 3-yard touchdown run. Longest run of the game was only 9 yards, but it was effective. The Browns had a big day throwing the football. Wheaton, flashing across the middle, Greg Little. And Little is out of bounds into Kansas City territory. Pushed out by Tyson Hartman, a gain of 34.
This is a great offensive call because they shift formation strength and then snap the ball after they've shifted, and the play action starts here. Little's going to come right here, and the defense just has trouble picking him up because of the shift. And then the play action, the defense jumps at the line of scrimmage. You saw that big run, that big physical run a moment ago led to the big sellout on the run game for the defense.
Offense in a rhythm. Richardson pushed back. You know, we've talked, Steve, about the emergence of Josh Gordon. He has made the players around him better, and specifically Greg Little, who doesn't have the responsibility of being the focus receiver.
Yeah, no question. And Gordon has lived up to it. He's just a big guy who's tough physically to match up with. And then you couple that with Trent Richardson and his style of running. The defense really feels like they have to sell out in that run game to get that momentum stopped for that big back.
Took a chance on Gordon, supplemental draft, and that is tipped and incomplete. Tamba Hali got a piece of the football.
And this is a great play by Hali. He's coming in unopposed, so Whedon wants to get rid of it. And, you know, you could give a little bit of a pump fake there if you're Whedon, get him up in the air, but that takes a little bit of getting used to try. If you little pump fake, that guy doesn't go for it, you end up on your back with him in your face.
Chiefs' first-round pick in 2006, and he is one of the best pass rushers in Chiefs history. Whedon on 3rd down. Again, Gordon. Josh Gordon tries to spin his way into the end zone, but stepped out of bounds at about the 2-yard line.
Watch him get loose on this route. Right over here, watch as he comes through, goes through all the traffic, rubs his defender off, and this is an outstanding throw by Whedon. It looks very simple, but Whedon had to lob this over the defender and gets this right on target, right in stride. That's a great football play at both ends. Gordon getting through the traffic and Whedon putting the ball in stride.
Gordon 3 catches for 39 yards. First and goal for the Browns. Richardson stopped in the backfield. Nice play by Derek Johnson, Chiefs' leading tackler, battling a hamstring injury, suffered in the 4th quarter last week, but felt like he wanted to go today.
Yeah, Derek Johnson, his brain doesn't have a hamstring. That guy is always on it. He was right in he diagnosed that play, came through, made the play in the backfield. And these guys, some of them, guys like Derek Johnson, who are so good mentally, it's almost like they're clairvoyant. That play was snapped off before the snap because he felt like he knew it was coming.
2nd and goal, loss of 2. Take it to Richardson. Whedon. 2 on 2 now. 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 If he had been able to release the ball cleanly, that would have been a touchdown.
Well, there's that pump fake I kind of mentioned a few plays ago. He used it to get a little more time on this. Watch the play action pitch fake. Now watch as he gives a little pump fake. It gives him a chance, but not enough to get completely away from Houston. And then right there is the open receiver begging for the football, and Whedon just can't get rid of it.
So 3rd and goal. Kansas City defense trying to dig in their heels. Short drop, helps it to the end zone. Trying to hit Josh Gordon, and that was a nice defensive play by Brandon Flowers, who suffered a hamstring injury last week against Carolina. He was a game-time decision, but he also wanted to go today. And so the Browns will be forced to try a field goal.
You do this when a guy like Josh Gordon has proven the ability to go up and get it. Now, this throw could have been higher and outside, but that's well defended. Very well defended by Flowers. He was all over it. Still, that's the kind of play you make and take shot you take when you've got a big #1 receiver.
Dawson got it. He had his 29 consecutive field goal streak snapped last week, but true there, and the Cleveland Browns are on the board here in the first. 7-3 Chiefs. Back in Cleveland, the Browns have to settle for a field goal after 1st and goal at the 2. Phil Dawson with the 300th field goal of his career. Ready to kick it away with 3:53 left to play in the first. Sean Drone back deep. And will take a knee 8 yards deep in the end zone. They'll bring it out to the 20, and that's where the Kansas City Chiefs will take over 1st and 10. Phil Taylor back on the field for the Cleveland defense after an ankle injury. Big man in his 2nd year out of Baylor. 21st pick overall last year. 1st and 10 for Kansas City. They lead it 7-3. Charles tries the right side once again. Takes it out to the 23-yard line. Well, tomorrow on CBS, the 5-0 team gets caught up in the jungle on an all-new Hawaii 5-0. Hawaii 5-0 tomorrow, only CBS. And as you can see, Dwayne Bowe is down on a knee, being attended to. So there's an official timeout on the field, and we'll return to Cleveland after this. Dwayne Bowe took a shot to the back, but walked off the field under his own power.
He's going to come across in this running game and try and get a block on a cutoff, and then goes down, and then right there, Kaluka Maiava's knee hits him on his left side, and he's in some physical pain coming off the field.
He's a big part of the Kansas City offense, obviously. 2nd and 7 for the Chiefs. Brady Quinn changing the protection. Charles with a nice hold. And another nice gain for Jamal Charles. And a 1st down for Kansas City out to the 33-yard line, a gain of 11.
Great job up front by the offensive line. They're going to cave all this down, and they're going to leave Charles room to cut this back. See all the space they get, pushing a big defensive tackles down inside. Going to that side of the field, to the short side of the field, gives them all kinds of room on the backside for Charles to find space.
Bowe remains on the sideline. Charles 5 carries, 96 yards already, and that 80-yard touchdown run to start the game. They go back to him. Gets it to the 35-yard line. Jamal Sheard made the stop. Came into the league as a 2nd-round pick out of Pittsburgh a year ago, and one of those, Steve, terrific young players on this Cleveland defense.
Now this defense has really stepped up. We mentioned Phil Taylor being back in the game. When Taylor and Ataba Rubin got healthy, the defense really took a step forward. But with Dwayne Bowe off the field, defensively, I think the Browns are feeling a little bit more confident in the passing game, defending Brady Quinn. Without Dwayne Bowe, this Chiefs team is going to change offensively.
Charles slashes his way out to the 39-yard line. DeQuell Jackson made the stop, and let's check in with the fellas in New York for an update.
Reggie Wayne has found a fountain of youth.
Oh, yeah, and Andrew Luck, a little play action. He looks for Reggie Wayne over the middle, 4-yard touchdown. That's Andrew Luck, 18th of the year, 7-7 in Indy.
89th reception of the season for Wayne. Bill McAtee, Steve Tasker.
JB, Dan Marino, thank you very much. 3rd and 4 for Kansas City. They lead it 7-3 nearing the end of the first quarter. Quarterback draw, and there's a marker down on the other side of the field. That play went nowhere. Sheard was waiting.
They're calling this on the defense. This is going to be a first down for the Chiefs by penalty.
Offsides, number 95, defense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
They call it on the 12-year veteran who came to the Browns from Philadelphia, Jaquay Parker.
Right up here, you see there, he just got too good a jump. This is a called quarterback draw, and the Browns were all over it. Sheard ended up on the bottom of the pile, but Brady Quinn ran into a Browns defensive line meeting right there. That was going nowhere.
So 1st and 10 from the Kansas City 45. Charles tries to cut it back. Picks up a yard.
The interior defensive line for the Browns has really made a difference.
And you see those 2 little red marks below the team initials. Those are challenges that the teams have remaining. Timeouts above. 2nd and 9 for Kansas City. Could be the last play of the first quarter. Play action. Quinn through his progression and throws it out of bounds. Jamar Newsom was in the vicinity, but an incomplete pass, and that'll bring up 3rd and 9, and we'll get another play here in the first 10 seconds left to go in the quarter.
Well, we spoke a lot about the Browns' defensive front, and their secondary is very talented as well. Joe Hayden is an elite cornerback who's even getting better now in his 3rd year. And on the other side, Sheldon Brown is a veteran guy who played extremely well a week ago. Brady Quinn having trouble finding open receivers in the secondary, and having lost his number 1, Dwayne Bowe, it's going to be even more difficult.
Peyton Hillis has checked in. Quinn goes to Hillis. And he will be stopped short of the first down. And that is the end of the first quarter. We'll return to Cleveland after these messages. You're watching the NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl 47. Ready to start the second quarter. Dustin Colquitt on to punt it away. And now they have shifted. And you see Josh Cribbs coming forward, and Travis Benjamin goes back deep. Shift. High end over end punt. Benjamin with some running room keeps his feet. Travis Benjamin avoids the punter. Up the sidelines, he cuts back and what a return. 93 yards.
Benjamin did a great job, but I'll tell you what, the 10 guys in front of him were outstanding on this play. Benjamin knows that the gunner goes past him, so he takes the chance, goes ahead and makes that cut right there. That was the chance the Chiefs had to stop this before it became a big play, and then the Browns rally to get in front of him. Benjamin doing a nice job handling that punt with a gunner running past him to make sure it didn't bounce into the end zone. Doesn't call for the fair catch and gives himself a chance. Well blocked up front.
Travis Benjamin, the rookie speedster out of Miami, the 4th round pick, and he has given the Browns a big play. And the lead. So fireworks to start both of the opening quarters. The Browns lead at 10-7. the rookie with the longest punt return for a touchdown in franchise history, eclipsing Eric Metcalf and his return of 92 yards.
Brandon Whedon told us Travis Benjamin's the fastest guy on the team. I believe him.
Big play for the Browns to take the lead, 10-7. Josh Bellamy, who was brought up from the practice squad this week, takes a knee. Let's take another look at the shift and the return.
Well, the Browns, you always worry about a fake, but the Browns with this shift, they leave the gunner uncovered, which forces the Chiefs to come tight. They force the tight punt. Great block down here, pushing him past the return man. With this shift, the Chiefs decide, wait a minute, let's make sure we're protected and get the punt off. That sets them up for a punt, and you see the guy blocking the gunner clear past the play, and then this break out to the tight side of the punt where they force the Chiefs to come in. They go right down their own sideline, and they get into a convoy, and it turns into a touchdown.
First and 10 for Kansas City from the 20, Jamal Charles. He can get north and south in a hurry. Not a guy who waits necessarily for things to unfold in front of him. He can plant the foot and get upfield quickly.
Well, you always know how good a guy is when you talk to the opposing teams, and he's the guy they talk about. I mean, to a man, Jamal Charles jumped out at this Browns team as a home run hitter, a guy they really had a lot of respect for, and he proved it on the first play of this game, going over 80 yards for the touchdown.
10th carry of the game. And again, able to burst through and get out to near the 40. Sheard made the stop. Pick up a 15, and he is slow getting up.
He might have landed on the football. Well, you see there holding his ribs in there. That sometimes the ball gets pointed upwards towards you. You land on the point of it. We'll see if we can see at the end of this play. He goes down. And right as soon as it happens, right on his left rib cage.
10 carries, 123 yards for Jamal Charles. Peyton Hillis checks in. He gets the carry on the left side. And is stopped for little or no gain.
Well, Charles looked like the ball got caught between himself and Jabal Sheard, who was coming to clean up on the tackle. So the ball wasn't between Charles and the ground. It was between Charles and another player. Charles is going to go down, and Jabal Sheard right here, he'll come down. He comes down on the ball right there between himself and Charles, and that, I think, is what causes the injury.
So Charles on the sideline. Meanwhile, we have a flag
On the offense in the huddle. It's 5-yard penalty, still second down.
When you start losing guys offensively, your personnel groupings become difficult to keep track of. Dwayne Bowe out of the game, now Jamal Charles out of the game. The Chiefs trying to switch around personnel combinations. Dexter McCluster is going to take a bigger role. But then you start running guys on and off the field, and they realize they're down a couple of top players. They have to cover for those guys and make the personnel switch. It becomes confusing.
That's McCluster alone in the backfield. They toss it to him. Tries to get to the edge and can't. Tripped up by Joe Hayden. Did well just to get back to the line of scrimmage.
Well, this Browns defense is a very good defense. Now this Chiefs team, now with the home run that Charles hit earlier and the success Charles was having early, this is still a Browns team that's very good against the run, particularly since, as we've said, they're completely healthy. It's rare. I think the Browns may be the healthiest team in the National Football League in this week of the NFL, and they're proving it week in, week out.
Sean Drone has checked in at running back in his first year out of North Carolina, and they swing it out to him. Steps out of bounds, pushed out by Joe Hayden. So that'll bring out the punting unit.
And there once again, the defensive philosophy, allowing the short reception and allowing them to gain some yards, but not nearly enough for the first down.
So Josh Cribbs, for the moment at least, back deep, standing at his own 10-yard line. Colquitt's punt. Nice effort. Cribbs able to make the fair catch, but does so inside the 10-yard line. A 49-yard punt. Browns will take over when we come back. back in Cleveland. Two big plays in the game so far. First play from scrimmage, Jamal Charles, an 80-yard touchdown run for Kansas City. And a short time ago, Travis Benjamin with a 93-yard punt return for the Cleveland Browns. And the Browns lead it 10-7, 11:27 left to go in the half. They got a slant, and that time Josh Gordon didn't bring it in.
Well, that's a throw he's got to catch. Brandon Weeden said one of the things he's fought against here in his first year has been the inability to hit the throws you got to be 100% on. Now that's not his fault. That's Gordon's fault. And I think Josh Gordon thought he was going to break off a big one and began to run with that football before he actually caught it. That's a young mistake right there by the receiver.
Ontario Hardesty in the backfield, and he gets the carry left side. A change of pace back for the Cleveland Browns. Guy who could hit the hole in a hurry. Poe made the stop for Kansas City.
Yeah, so many teams do have two running backs. I mean, everybody's got to have them. And Hardesty, and I think most teams do it this way, when you're going to make a switch, you make it for an entire series. You put the guy in there, leave him in there for 4 or 5 or 6 plays. That gives Richardson or whoever else the other number 1 back is a chance to really get some solid rest and come back fresher in the second half because of it.
Hardesty stays in the game. 3rd and 6. Wheaton gets rid of it. Incomplete. Tried to loft it to Greg Little, but over his head, and the Browns will have to punt.
Little, they might have fit this in, but this throw, Wheaton's got to put out over Little, number 15, coming out on the hard post and then to the corner out underneath the clear out by Benjamin. Weeden throwing that deep, trying to get the deeper and get the more yardage, and Little breaking it off a little too shallow. That's a miscommunication by quarterback and receiver.
Hodges from his own end zone. Chiefs should have pretty good field position, and that's a line drive punt. Javier Arenas fields it. And brought down at about the 42-yard line. Turned out to be a 50-yard punt, 6-yard return, 10:27 left to go in the half. Jamal Charles remains on the Kansas City sideline for the moment. Chiefs with their best starting position of the game so far from their own 42. Willis, the deep back, and he gets it on first down. And rumbles forward to the 46-yard line. DeQuell Jackson made the stop. Well, tonight on CBS, don't miss a heart-stopping final challenge on the Amazing Race season finale. Goodness gracious, that is tonight. Only CBS. 2nd and 6 for Kansas City. Again, they stop play before the snap.
Ball start, number 76, offense. 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
Call it on the left tackle, Brandon Albert, who's been limited because of back issues he's faced all season long.
We spoke to Romeo Crennel, obviously, said, what would you have changed about this? He said, listen, eliminate our turnovers, no more penalties at the wrong time, and don't give up any big pass plays against us. That's what I'd change. And, you know, you really know that that's true. This is a team that's really done it to themselves a lot during this rough season that they're going through.
2nd and 11. Willis. Brought down. Forward progress at about the 44. Jabal Sheard led the swarming defense on that play, and it'll bring up 3rd and 8.
Well, certainly the Cleveland defense knows that when Peyton Hillis is in the game, it's going to be a different type of running game for the Chiefs. They know it well, and it's going to be a downhill handoff between the numbers, and it's going to be big boy pad time. I mean, you're going to have to come in and get low and stop a big physical runner. The speed is not the issue in that offense.
Sean Drone checks in, the Chiefs' 2nd leading rusher. And Grady Quinn has to throw it in the dirt at the feet of Dexter McCluster. Billy Wynn had the pressure for Cleveland.
And that's a good sign of this good, solid Cleveland defense. Brady Quinn's got to get rid of this on time or he's going to get sacked. He's starting to buy himself time, but also this defense has got great guys in the back end. They cover up really well. You see there, tight coverage on McCluster.
4th and 8. Cribbs standing back at his own 10-yard line. Waiting another punt from Colquitt. And that looks like it hit a Kansas City player. Cribbs waving everyone away. And they will down it at about the 14-yard line. 42-yard punt, no return. Browns take the field on offense. Back in Cleveland, the word we get on Jamaal Charles is a rib injury. His return is questionable. Browns take over from 14-yard line. Play action for Wheaton. Lots of time. Finally, the time evaporates, able to get away. Caught, but out of bounds and incomplete. Greg Little.
There's outstanding coverage on for the secondary. As Little goes out, he's going to take hard and then break hard back to the outside. Flowers all over him, forces the high and outside throw from Whedon. They just can't complete it. Whedon having to buy a little time on that play as the pressure started to get to him, but Cleveland receivers covered up on that play. Good job by the Kansas City secondary.
Cleveland with only 100 total yards of offense. They're running the Wildcat now with Cribbs. Takes the snap. Upended at about the 17.
Yeah, not much there on that.
Tari Poe, the rookie out of Memphis, the first-round pick, tripped him up.
Fake out to the right, then falling in behind the offensive lineman and the tight end coming around. Laval getting out in front. There's not much there.
So 3rd and 7. Whedon from the shotgun. Richardson back there with him. She's showing blitz. Come on, a delayed blitz. That's caught by Greg Little for a first down for the Browns.
And that's a first-round throw right there by Brandon Whedon. As watch Little working out of the slot right there against Javier Arenas. Arenas taking away the inside leverage, and Little taking him to the sideline. Hard to cover a route that works to the weakness of your defensive technique. Arenas giving him the outside leverage, and Little having the right route called to come over.
Good for 11 yards. Out to the 28. Ontario Hardesty able to avoid the first man, but brought down hard at the 31 by Arenas.
And that third down pickup by Whedon is just the kind of growth that these Cleveland fans are looking for. A hard out throws, a deep out with a lot of velocity right on the money.
Over 2,800 yards passing, the most ever by a Browns rookie quarterback, coming off a career high 364 yards last week. And then against the Raiders, 22nd pick overall as Trent Richardson checks back in. Short drop, goes through his progression, and finally goes down. Nothing there. That was a coverage sack. Brought down by Tyson Jackson, a loss of 6.
That was
third sack of the season, Steve, for Jackson.
Yeah, excuse me, Bill, you're right. That was a coverage sack. You see there, 1 option, 2 option, tries to come back to the third, right over the football, and it's just too late. Trying right here to find Little. Little finally comes open. By the time he comes back over to the left, it's too late. The pocket collapses around Whedon. And this forces another 3rd and very long.
3rd and 13. Whedon for Little. Nowhere to go, and now a late flag comes in. Brandon Flowers made the stop.
Personal foul, horse collar tackle, number 21, defense. 15-yard penalty, first down.
And they call that on Javier Arenas.
That's the rule. Javier getting the face, and I can feel for the defenders. They get up high, they're trying to tackle a guy, he stiff arms him right in the face. You try and grab whatever you can grab, and you come up with a horse collar, and they call this on Arenas, but it's not.
It's actually Brandon
Yeah, it's Flowers who does it, gets the upper edge of the collar and pulls him down, and that's, you can see it right there. That's a good call.
So 8 yards on the play, plus 15 on the penalty, and suddenly the Browns are in business from their own 47. Wheaton trying to set up the screen, and that was well diagnosed. And Wheaton wisely throws it away.
Tamba Hali knew that was coming. He saw Richardson, read his body language, and blew the play up. Right here, he's going to read Richardson, and watch what happens. He engages Joe Thomas, and he sees Joe Thomas falling back, and he just grabs Richardson and won't let him go. And Richardson trying to get loose. Once he tries to fake a block, finds out he's all tied up.
High formation, Richardson left side, leads over one man, tries to fight his way into Kansas City territory, and now we have another flag. Sean Smith made the stop. And a bit of a tussle after the whistle had blown the play dead.
Yeah, the ball came loose late, and once it's loose, it doesn't matter if the whistle blew or not. Guys are trying to fight for it. And that's when tempers flare up a little bit. Richardson appeared to be down, and then after he's down, the defenders rip the ball loose, and then tempers flare. We'll have to sort this out with the penalty right at the 50-yard line.
Run. Illegal block in the back, number 46, offense. 10-yard penalty, still second down.
Well, it wasn't number 46.
But they will march them back. Some of the players are pointing at the scoreboard where they're replaying the play.
Yeah, the reason it wasn't number 46 is because there's no 46 on the Browns roster. Right here, there's the block.
And that was Greg Little. Yeah.
And the Browns sideline's pretty upset. They took a timeout, and they feel like the officials messed up the clock, the play clock and the game clock. And Pat Shurmur obviously is very upset.
For the moment, 4:55 left to go in the half.
That's a little break in momentum.
It's going to be a Cleveland timeout.
It's going to be about 2nd and 17 after the penalty. And the Browns, who converted one third down, got another by penalty, have kept this drive alive that started inside their 15-yard line. Right here's the block. Right there, he pushes Eric Berry right into the pile. And that was a penalty.
So 2nd and 17. Play action for Wheaton. Going to avoid the pressure. Richardson back out close to midfield. Tripped up by Justin Houston.
And that's the kind of play that gets you in a chance. From a 2nd and 17, it'll go to a 3rd and about 8, which is a good play on 2nd down. It gives you some sort of chance to get this and opens up your playbook just a little more, at least in your passing game. You're probably not going to run this football, but it does give you more options to throw it short and let a guy try and get it.
Cleveland 49-yard line.
This is your play right here.
Wheaton from the gun. Here come the Chiefs on the blitz. They pick it up and bat it away. Incomplete. That has been a problem for Brandon Wheaton here in his rookie season. Tyson Jackson got a hand on it. That'll bring up 4th down.
You saw me circle the bottom receiver. That was Josh Gordon one-on-one. And Wheaton, and that's always a bad thing when your quarterback goes back, pats the ball, shuffles his feet. It just takes too long for him to decide to throw that football. And that's on the quarterback.
Hodges over in punt to Javier Arenas, who calls for the fair catch and makes it at the 18. 32-yard punt. No return. And coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report, join JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Cower for all the latest NFL scores and highlights from this week. And that's all coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report. Here in Week 14. Jamal Charles has checked back in for the Kansas City Chiefs. That's good news for the Chiefs. 10 carries, 123 yards. Brady completes it. Terrence Copper. And he has a first down for Kansas City.
Yeah, Terrence Copper, who is a special teams guy, gets some work at wide receiver and getting some work here against Joe Hayden because of the injury to Dwayne Bowe. Great route as he gives a kind of an out move and then up in the stick at the top. That's an excellent route by Copper to come open just at the right time for Quinn to find him.
Copper came in with only 5 catches for 47 yards. Bowe earlier in the game. Quinn flushed from the pocket and tripped up at the 35 by Frosty Rucker.
Yeah, the Browns came with the secondary, from the secondary to get some pressure, and it forced Quinn to pull it down. Pressure's going to come from right here and here as Quinn steps up away from it, and right there, as you see, Mayava get pushed past him. He has to pull the football down again, which allows Rucker to bring him down from behind.
2nd and 13 after the sack. Charles playing with injured ribs today.
I can't tell you, as courageous as these guys are physically, it's hard to play with any injury when you're not feeling 100%, but ribs for a running back are particularly difficult because it just causes you to flinch. It's just reflex, and it's really hard to play your normal game of football as a player when you've got an injury of that nature.
Charles goes to the sideline on 3rd and 8 for Kansas City. Drone is in the backfield with Brady Quinn. Lofts it up the sideline and incomplete. John Baldwin was the intended receiver and locked up there with Joe Hayden.
Joe Hayden does a nice job staying shoulder to shoulder on the upfield. Now watch as he double moves. Hayden's got the athletic ability to stay with him and turns up when the receiver looks, Hayden looks, and just herds him along with the throw out of bounds to force the incompletion. Great coverage by Hayden.
Josh Cribbs standing back at his own 15. Waiting to punt on 4th and 8. Colquitt just booms this one. And it will be out of bounds near the goal line. What a punt from Dustin Colquitt as we have reached the 2-minute warning. 1:57 left to go in the half. The Browns take over deep in their own territory from their own 3-yard line. Richardson throws his way out close to the 5. Timeout on the field with 1:52 left to go in the half. Opportunity here in the first half. Little red marks below the teams. That's challenges remaining. Short drop for Wheaton. They run the slant. The first down to Gordon. Josh Gordon out across the 20 to the 23, a gain of 18.
Now we saw an incompletion on that earlier. Josh Gordon making up for it on this play. Great hard slant. Good throw right into his breadbasket, and then of course pushing it up for the extra yardage. That's the kind of play that defensive coordinators hate. When you've got them bottled up, they come out with the confidence to throw it. And it's hard to defend with so much field behind you.
The Browns with a little room. 2 timeouts remaining. Short drop from Whedon. Finally flush in the pocket and brought down from behind. Tamba Hali with his 2nd sack of the game.
And this is a route that has to be either let go very quickly or you got to tuck it and throw it away. All the receivers run those 5-yard little hitches. You see these guys all turn around looking at the quarterback. Once it's not there, they've either got to turn and run or the quarterback's got to throw it away. And that's another thing that Brandon Weeden's got to know. If that throw's not there immediately, heave it out of bounds.
So the clock continues to run. 2nd and 18 for the Browns. Richardson. Side handoff.
I look for the Chiefs maybe to take a timeout here. And yeah, they do. They took a timeout. They got a chance to get it back. And
Kansas City.
there's always that opportunity to
30-second
push
timeout.
for field goal position and maybe sneak in 3 points at the end of the half.
29 seconds left to play in the first half. Kansas City with 1 timeout remaining. And coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report, join JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Cowher for all the latest NFL scores and highlights from Week 14. That's all coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report.
The key on this, I think, for the Browns is to make sure after this 3rd down, whether you pick it up or not, that the clock is running. And force the Chiefs to use that last timeout. Try and pick it up, but make this completion count.
They keep the football on the ground, and Richardson is brought down at the 21. That'll bring up 4th down.
And that's a good play call. 3rd and 15, you can't count on picking it up. You got to make sure that the Chiefs at least have to use their timeout. So you just give it a handoff on the draw play to Richardson. Make sure the Chiefs do have to waste that timeout, then come out and punt it away. Now this should end up with a 40-yard net. If you're looking at it statistically, should be about at the Chiefs' 40-yard line, which with 24 seconds, they're going to have the opportunity perhaps to maybe complete a couple of passes and get into field goal range.
Hodges back at the 7. High punt to Arenas. And he is dropped immediately at the 46-yard line. That was a 33-yard punt. 15 seconds left to play in the half.
And that's an excellent job by the Chiefs getting that pressure and forcing the punt. Their own 45-yard line, they need 20 yards to get to the outer ranges of Succop and his range as a field goal kicker. Now, going this direction, we saw him practicing his approaches from both hash marks during a timeout, but he was practicing for a 42-yard attempt. That would be more of a 53-yard.
Chiefs out of timeouts. And they run it. Sean Drone. Billy Wynn made the stop, and Kansas City content to let time run out here in the first half.
Pretty conservative play call there at the end.
10-7 Cleveland. That is the end of the first half. And we'll be back with the Verizon Halftime Report after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl 47. Listening to a Pepsi anthem inspired by Aerosmith. Download this and other NFL-inspired anthems at PepsiAnthems.com. Ready to start the second half here in Cleveland. The Browns lead at 10-7. Bill McAtee back with Steve Tasker, and big plays highlighted the first half. Steve.
Yeah, the first play from scrimmage, Jamal Charles going over 80 yards for the touchdown, and then, of course, the huge punt return by the Cleveland Browns. These are two teams that really are struggling to get first downs offensively, but still their defense is susceptible to the big play, and then both teams have struggled with that during the course of this season.
All right, let's take a look at the numbers from the first half. And the return yards obviously key for Cleveland, and rushing yards for Kansas City.
And the sacks allowed.
37 total yards, Steve.
And the sacks allowed. Cleveland's got to do a better job with Weeden. And I think a couple of those sacks, maybe two of those 3 sacks were on Weeden himself for hanging on to the football a little bit too much. But Jamal Charles and the 139 yards rushing, 80 of it coming on the first play from scrimmage. Make no mistake, though, if Charles can go in the second half with his injured ribs, he could be the difference for the Chiefs.
23rd regular season meeting between these two teams. They're all even at 10 wins apiece with 2 ties. The last time they played was here in Cleveland a couple years ago. The Chiefs won at 16-14. They have played very close games recently. The last 3 decided by a total of just 6 points. Josh Cribbs back deep. The Browns won the toss. They deferred to the second half, so they'll have the football to start the third quarter. That is a short kick. It goes out of bounds at the 17.
The Chiefs trying to do their best to pooch kick it away from Josh Cribbs because they're so afraid of his ability.
Out of bounds. Kansas City's ball, first down.
I mean, the guy's done it better than anybody in the history of the league.
Josh Cribbs with 8 career kickoff returns for touchdowns. Had 2 returns for touchdowns
Cleveland's ball
against Kansas City in December of 2009 from 100 and 103 yards. So they don't want to give him an opportunity to add to that legacy.
You know, the problem is they give the Browns the football at the 40-yard line as a result.
First and 10 for Cleveland, just underway in the second half. Browns lead at 10-7. And they run the reverse to Benjamin. And he's into Kansas City territory. Fastest player on the Browns roster, the speedster out of Miami.
That was like a double reverse. The handoff, then the pitch, watches the end around. Hands it there to Gordon, and then he pitches it to Benjamin. The Kansas City Chiefs team spread from sideline to sideline, trying to cover this one up, and it turns into a big game.
Creative play calling for the Cleveland Browns. They have it, Kansas City 45. Wheaton on first down will throw. And another first down caught by Josh Gordon.
Wheaton well protected on that. Still a little late with the delivery as Gordon has to go down and get it. Watch, he comes out working right there against Arenas. And this is a young Gordon coming back late, getting rid of the football, putting it right down low and away from the defender.
They spot it just inside the 35-yard line. First and 10 for Cleveland. On the move here to start the second half. Wheaton intercepted and then dropped.
This is a play that came open.
And that was Eric Berry, who had a great opportunity for a turnover.
Yeah, right here as Watson turns out right there, the ball's got to be on him, and Wheaton leads him to the sideline and throws it short. If he could have delivered that once again just a little bit earlier, this play is open once again for another first down, but Watson doing a nice job knocking that ball loose.
Second and 10, short drop. Again, the slant wide open, Greg Little. And Little powers his way inside the 20 down to the 18.
So Greg Little and Josh Gordon have really stepped up their game here in the second half of this season. Both players are big wide receivers, and they can both, if they get the ball in their hands, are very dangerous with it, big enough to break tackles.
Brandon Wheaton told us that Little has really stepped it up over the last 4 to 5 weeks, knowing that he's going to get his shots. Taking full advantage there. Back to the ground, Richardson.
And there once again you see the personality of this Cleveland offense. Richardson, just a big sledgehammer of a back. He was a home run hitter a year ago in college at Alabama. Not so much here at this level, but so physical, and they know the defense has to take shots at him.
And now the Wildcat. Josh Cribbs ready to receive the snap. Left side, trying to get to the edge, and does! Extends for the goal line, and let's see if he stepped out.
They're going to mark him short of the goal line. He stayed in bounds. They think his knees were down short of the goal line. I don't know if they were. That might be a pretty good spot. But he really did a nice job of extending toward the pylon. What a great move at the corner of the defense right before he turned it upfield to get to the edge, and then extending to the goal line, and then being marked just shy. We'll see here. Does his knee go down? Maybe just short, I would think. You might want to take a chance. I don't think he doesn't go down until his body hits.
Corey Greenwood saved the touchdown, but first and goal.
And now they're going to throw the challenge flag. Pat Shurmur threw the challenge flag out to the numbers, and they want to take a look at this. There's a chance, a good chance, that he got in.
So you see the little red marker below Cleveland.
Cleveland is challenging the ruling on the field
remaining.
that the runner was down short of the goal line.
Kansas City with both of theirs here early in the second half. So a timeout on the field. The Browns are threatening and may have a touchdown. We're back, and Steve, let's take another look.
Yeah, the question is, does his left knee come down right here? I think it does not before the ball goes over. Now, I think he straightens his leg up before his knee hits, and I think he does break the plane with the football. The question is, does that knee right there touch? Right there, it doesn't look like it touched. All it has to do is brush the grass. It doesn't have to really hit harder.
Get the verdict from Walt
After
Anderson.
reviewing the play, ruling on the field is confirmed. Runner short of the goal line. Cleveland will be charged with their first timeout.
So
Wow, I
not
don't know.
enough to overturn.
He made that sound way too simple. I thought that was a much more difficult call than that. But I thought it was a good challenge by Pat Shurmur.
Number 75 is reporting as eligible.
So they will lose a challenge, and you see that missing from the little red mark right below Cleveland in that graphic. First and goal, though. Browns trying to add to their lead. Richardson leaps into the end zone, no question there. Trent Richardson with his 8th rushing touchdown of the season.
That is something that Trent Richardson does as well as any back. He's got a nose for the end zone and a physical type of running style. You really have to catch him before he gets going if you're going to stop a play like that.
Dawson on to try the extra point. And Phil Dawson makes it a 10-point Cleveland lead with 12:28 left to go in the third. Touchdown from Trent Richardson, the rookie out of Alabama. Seven plays, 60 yards on the drive, and with that touchdown, his 8th of his rookie season, the most ever by a rookie running back here in Cleveland. 4 plays on that drive, over 10 yards. It was impressive. Sails out of the end zone, and they'll bring it out to the 20-yard line. They'll join the NFL in celebrating 50 years of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. In this golden anniversary, come to Canton, which is just down the road, and join the more than 10 million fans who have made the pilgrimage to the birthplace of the NFL. For more, visit ProFootballHOF.com. My man, Mr. Tasker, up once again into the semifinal round to get into the Hall of Fame. Why a man who went to 7 Pro Bowls would not be in the Hall of Fame is beyond most of us, but still,
I think it's because
good luck in the voting going
I have to
forward.
explain what I did rather than just say it, you know.
Charles, nope, play action, and Brady Quinn keeps it, goes the other direction. Did not fool DeQuell Jackson and Mayava. First half possessions for Kansas City.
Yeah, see the one play, 80 yards in the first half, and then the missed field goal, and then it was a succession of punts followed by one play and out for the halftime for the Chiefs.
Loss of a yard. It'll be 2nd and 11 for Brady Quinn and the Kansas City Chiefs, trailed by 10. Charles in the backfield, then play action, pulls it down, tries to find some running room, and picks up 3 yards on the scramble.
This is an offense for Kansas City that's a little bit hamstrung without Dwayne Bowe in the lineup, who left the game with an injury in the first half, and Jamal Charles is not 100% either. Brady Quinn doing what he can to get some positive yards on that scramble, but this offense is going to struggle without its playmakers on the field, and Jamal Charles particularly not being 100%.
When he left the game, Bowe had 2 catches for 70 yards. 3rd and 7 for Kansas City. Wynn almost picked off and is on the deflection to Sean Gibson, the free agent rookie out of Wyoming, with a big turnover for the Cleveland Browns.
Well, this ball was tipped by one defender into the hands of another, and that's just a bad decision by Quinn to try and fit it in when you've got two guys there waiting on it. Watch. See, Sheldon Brown just breaks on the route. He's all over it, working. He's going against Baldwin, and that ball just tipped up in the air. Gibson comes up with it, and then it's off Baldwin's face mask. And that's a bad break at the end, but that ball should have been picked off on the first throw.
And the Cleveland Browns are back in business deep in Kansas City territory. After the injury timeout, Brandon Albert slow leaving the field, the Chiefs' left tackle, but left the field under his own power. Sheldon Brown tipping the ball away, causing the turnover by the rookie with the interception, and now Cleveland 1st and 10. Whedon underneath, that is caught down inside the 5, close to the 2-yard line by Gordon, who is having another big day.
That's a nice catch on a ball through traffic. It looks like he's shaken up a little, but Whedon comes out, comes back to him right there. Whedon doing a nice job. It's one of the things that Whedon has done well. Stand in the pocket, not look at the rush, and let the routes develop. Sometimes he's delivered the ball a little bit late, but I think quarterbacks with strong arms tend to do that.
1st and goal. Play action. Whedon throws it out of the end zone.
Yeah, Greg Little is going to get covered up here, kind of come across, and Flowers does a nice job. By that time the ball's over their head, and that's in the red zone. That's all you have to do as a defender, get rid of that first move of the receiver, then the quarterback's got to double pump it, and usually the pressure is going to get right in his face and they'll have to throw it away.
Browns trying to take advantage of the interception by Gibson. Nothing much went well on that play. Trent Richardson.
Trent Richardson got the hot potato on that one. Whedon just fumbles the snap, has a presence of mind to get it up, but once the timing's ruined and the surge by the offensive line, they make a kind of a hole through the middle of the defense, but then the defenders squeeze in around the back of it, and then there's no place for Trent Richardson to go after the hot potato comes to him.
So they spot it back at the 4. It'll be 3rd and goal. We're going to throw it. Whedon. And we have a marker down. Watson was all alone.
This may be an illegal shift, or yeah, the Browns never got set before the ball was snapped.
Illegal shift. Numbers 82 and 15 were both moving and not set prior to the snap. Offense. That's a 5-yard penalty. It's still 3rd down.
I think it was actually Jordan Cameron, 84. All right, now, they were never set before this. They were moving at the same time, and Cameron went in motion before the entire offense was set.
So no touchdown. They'll move it back, and it will be 3rd and goal now from the 9.
And that's on the players. That's a basic, youth football players get that right.
Whedon flush from the pocket at the goal line, and that is Richardson. And another marker is down, and it might be offensive pass interference.
They call it on Richardson for pushing off to get separation.
Pass interference. Number 33. Offense. 10-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
And they do call it on Trent Richardson.
And they were 3 feet away from the official who called it, and right on the pylon. We'll get a look at it here. And I didn't see it there, but right at the top, right up here, it's going to come right to the. I didn't know. That's not a penalty. That is not a penalty.
Locked up there with Justin Houston. So for the second time, points taken off the board for Cleveland. Underneath to Watson, who's had a quiet day. And that will be well short of the goal line, stopped at the 6.
So a number of penalties and a bubbled snap are going to force the field goal try here for the Cleveland Browns, and that's a bad series of downs for the Browns that could have really put this game almost out of reach for Kansas City. And the Chiefs hanging on to do really stopping one touchdown and then taking advantage of the penalties.
So Phil Dawson, who already has one from 23 yards out, tries this one from 24 and right through the middle. So the Cleveland Browns extend their lead to 20-7 with 8:42 left to play in the third. Twice the Browns have had first and goal at the 2 and have had to settle for field goals as it has started to rain here in Cleveland. 3 points set up by the interception by the rookie Gibson. Sean Drone back deep. 5 yards deep. He brings it out. And brought down at the 15. Tonight on CBS, a 60 Minutes investigation into the city known as the false confession capital of America. Plus Hugh Jackman on 60 Minutes tonight, only CBS. Chiefs trail 20-7. Start first and 10 from their own 15. First play from scrimmage, Jamal Charles went 80 yards for a touchdown. But they have really not been able to get into a rhythm on offense since. Charles upended near the 18.
Just wonder what kind of physical condition Jamal Charles is in. Had a rib injury in the first half where the ball got caught between him and another defender and had to come off and stayed out for a series for the Chiefs. Actually 2 series. Now back in.
Starting to rain harder here in Cleveland. 2nd and 7 for the Chiefs. Charles gets to the outside. This is a team that really wants to run on the perimeter. And when they're successful, they can move the football.
And it all centers around Charles. I mean, he's the kind of back that can get to the corner in a quick hurry. Plus, we spoke to Eric Winston, big left tackle. He says the only back he's seen that makes what he calls a long cut. Go out to the edge, make one, put his foot in the ground, and full speed change his direction right up into the defense. Really effective.
Charles. And that will be about a yard loss. Big Phil Taylor was there to stop him. And the word we get on Dwayne Bowe is that he is done for the day. Also with a rib injury. Go ahead, Steve, sorry.
Browns doing their best here to stop the Kansas City running game with 7 guys in the box, with the fewest number of players possible to stop it.
2nd and 11. Charles. And again, not much running room. DeQuell Jackson made the stop. Heart and soul of this Cleveland defense, was rewarded in the offseason with a big new contract after a year in which he was healthy really for the first time in his career.
Came into today with 3 sacks on the season, a couple of interceptions, pass breakups. I mean, he's one of the guys that gets into every statistical category because the Browns put him on the field in every situation they can.
And the kind of guy who can provide veteran leadership for all of the young players on this talented Cleveland defense. 3rd and 9 for the Chiefs. Quinn underneath. McCluster. And he took a shot at about the 39-yard line.
Now he's not going to be able to continue. He's going to have to stay down. That was a really tough hit. Right there, just shy of the first down marker. Brady Quinn told us yesterday when he get McCluster, when his number is called, it's his job to get it to him as fast as he possibly can. A little faster might have made that a little easier as Craig Robertson comes in and gives the hard shot.
Robertson is the Browns linebacker in the nickel. He is fast and active. 54 tackles, couple of interceptions, and 2 fumble recoveries and a sack through week 13. He has been a very good addition for the Cleveland Browns. They have to punt on 4th and 1. Josh Cribbs back deep, standing at his own 18. With a nice punt from Colquitt. Drives Cribbs back to the 5 and finally stumbles out of bounds at the 18-yard line. That's a 54-yard punt and a 12-yard return. Rain continues to fall here in Cleveland, one of the few places where you actually would let a wet dog in the house. Browns take over 1st and 10 from their own 18. Toss it back to Hardesty, who does a nice job cutting back against the grain and is out to the 26. Dontari Poe, the rookie out of Memphis, made the stop. 11th overall pick. Has started all 13 games for Kansas City.
This Kansas City defense up front, running a 3-4 that's so important for the guy right over the football to be a big, stout guy.
Hardesty stays in the game and he gets it on 2nd and 2. Banged around. Seiler made the stop.
And with this rain coming down and a 13-point lead, Browns electing to run the ball hard right at the Chiefs. Hardesty giving them the nice run on 1st down. The Browns hoping they could get that 1st down with 2 straight runs. Not so.
3rd and a long 1. Whedon underneath to Watson, and that will be a Cleveland 1st down. Frequent target for Brandon Whedon last week was Watson with 6 catches for 80 yards.
It goes all the way across the formation. Whedon finds him. They've had some success with this today, have the Browns in their passing game. Got a touchdown early on a crossing route where the guy comes just from the line of scrimmage all the way across the formation. The Chiefs are having a hard time manning up on those guys.
Hardesty cuts it back. Hardesty into Kansas City territory, lowers the shoulder, and is brought down at the 41 by Arenas.
Well, we spoke about the complementary nature that Hardesty has in relation to Trent Richardson. This is a great example of it as he pops up through this, cuts it back. You watch right here, he just shifts gears. He's headed to the sideline. Arenas does a good job getting over there, but that's a big gain from a guy who just decides he's going to run it as fast as he can and get what he can get. Lowers the shoulder, finishes the run very nicely.
25 yards on the play. They switch back to the I. Hardesty the deep back. And Whedon will throw. Pump fake and checks it down and incomplete. Slippery football, and Hardesty could not bring it in.
And you got to make those plays if you're the Cleveland Browns. You look back and those are the plays that come back to haunt you throughout the years. A pump fake by Whedon. Nice job as Hardesty comes wide open. The Chiefs leave him uncovered short. And that's just a flat drop.
Whedon put the football exactly where it was supposed to be. 2nd and 10. 3:07 left to go in the 3rd. And the Chiefs are claiming that someone on the Browns offense moved.
False start,
Joe Thomas.
number 66, offense. 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
Sean Laval, the right guard.
You hear him saying, was it me?
The offensive line has really stepped up and played well, as you see the problem with drops. 27 of those by the Cleveland Browns. The offensive line coming in and giving up just 21 sacks, among the lowest in the league. Very much a lunch pail, blue-collar bunch. Mitchell Schwartz has done a good job as a rookie. Gordon fighting for extra yards.
Excellent defense there by Tamba Hali, moving out. Started his career as a 4-3 defensive end. Now in a 3-4, he's asked to do so much more than just put his hand on the ground and rush the passer, and he's been very good at it. Look, he starts out right here. Watch what he has to do as this play unfolds. Drops back, opens his hips, accepts the block from Cameron, then breaks on the ball. What an athlete. I mean, truly one of the guys that, you look at him and that's an NFL player.
2 sacks today. Wheaton with time, now flush from the pocket. And that is caught by Watson. Ben Watson with a first down. Down to the 20, tripped up by Brandon Flowers after a big gain, 23 yards.
So many times in games in the NFL, the big plays come from something that's not drawn up. Here's Watson. He's going to pass protect a little bit, give his right tackle a little help, then he's going to sit, and as Wheaton breaks out this direction, Jackson's just going to mirror him, and the defense just loses him. They think Wheaton's going to run the football. He doesn't. Watson makes himself available. That's a big play that's off the page of the playbook.
Again, play action. Wheaton slings it to the end zone, almost intercepted. Nearly picked off by Tyson Hartman.
That was a roll of the dice at best by Wheaton. He's got a big arm. I got to hand it to him. That is a strong throw, but not really a strong decision. Double coverage in the back of the end zone. I know you want to take a shot, but as you see, Hartman's sitting right there waiting on him. And he throws that right over the top of him. And he just got lucky that Brandon Wheaton. Hartman almost had himself an interception.
So 2nd and 10, back to the ground. Hardesty fights for a couple. And that's really what Pat Shurmur told us about Brandon Wheaton, that a couple times in a game he'll make a throw that you really want back, but then he'll turn around and make a terrific play and you realize his potential.
Yeah, it's in there. I mean, you can see a really top-flight NFL quarterback in there somewhere, but he's got to separate the bad decisions and the poor throws from that guy.
Browns coming off 475 yards of total offense last week against the Raiders. That was Cleveland's biggest day of offense in 5 years. 3rd and 9. Little. Greg Little down to the 2.
They moved Little from the slot back into the backfield. It looked like they were going to go empty, but they put a wide receiver into the backfield, caused a little bit of confusion, I think, for the front 7 of the Chiefs. And look at the big guys out leading him. Joe Thomas and John Greco out in front. That's a hard train to jump in front of.
Watch Joe Thomas, number 73, just rumbling out there. And that will take us to the end of the 3rd quarter.
This is the end of the 3rd quarter.
Cleveland threatening, already leading 20-7, and we'll return after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl 47. Ready to start the final quarter. 11th play of the drive upcoming. This started at the Cleveland 18-yard line. They spotted just inside the 2. 1st and goal. Power I formation. Hardesty the deep back. And they give it to him. And the ball is loose. There's a scramble for it. Let's see who came away with it.
It's going to be a question also if he fumbled it before he got in the end zone or after. And if it's a turnover, it's going to be reviewed anyway. So this call and the ruling the officials come out with is going to have a lot to say about what happens next. Whether it's a touchdown, a fumble, and who recovered it. And when he fumbled. No indication at all from the official. You see Hardesty gets up. He's saying it's a touchdown. What are you doing? Now they're giving him second down. So he at least came up with possession of the football. Well, Hardesty was adamant that that was a touchdown. We'll see. Now he does get stopped short, but then he gets a second effort. Impossible to see.
Well, they give him a yard on the play, and let's see if we can tell where the ball came loose. Spotted inside the 1. Richardson.
That's a touchdown.
Forward progress breaks the plane in the end zone. Touchdown.
Trent Richardson, even at this early point of his career, what looks to be a very long career, he is a very good short yardage back. He has got great balance, great awareness. He never gets off his feet unless you pull him all the way to the ground. He stays up and stays alive on every play to the bitter end, and he doesn't turn it over. And that play right there, you can see there, that's a touchdown. And there are guys here, there have been guys in the league who have a knack for that. Marcus Allen was a great example. You get him down close, tremendous short yardage and goal line runner. And Trent Richardson is along the same line, although a little bit different style.
Reviewing things upstairs as they do every scoring play. And now confirmed. So Dawson on to try the extra point. Make it a 20-point lead for the Cleveland Browns. Richardson with his second touchdown run of the day early in the 4th. And the Browns dominating. 12 plays, 82 yards on the drive. It culminates with Trent Richardson's second touchdown run of the game, his 9th of the season. They converted 3 third downs on that drive, a 3rd and 1, a 3rd and 9, and a 3rd and 11. Short kick, fielded at the 11-yard line by Bellamy. And goes out of bounds at the 20. Brady Quinn, who took over 3 weeks ago from Matt Castle, started the second half against Cincinnati, takes the field, and nobody knows the game like a quarterback. Break down all the NFL action on NFL Monday QB tomorrow at 6:30 Eastern, only on CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Jamal Charles, big start to the day, then injured his ribs, but back out there. Quinn. And that is caught by Terrence Copper. Dwayne Bowe done for the day with a rib injury, so Copper seeing some looks.
Yeah, look at Joe Hayden, jumps on that route.
Charles picks up 1.
The Chiefs came in here to Cleveland looking at a team that was 4-8, the Browns, but finding out all too quickly that this is a team that is solid here in Cleveland on both sides of the football.
Browns are going for their 5th win in their last 8 games, and that would be a remarkable turnaround after their 0-5 start. First and 10 for Kansas City, short drop. And down goes Brady Quinn. John Hughes, big, strong, young player, the rookie out of Cincinnati, the 3rd-round pick.
Has not had any starts this season, but is in that rotation for the defensive line that has been so effective for the Browns. You know, a guy like Hughes really benefited from some playing time when Rubin and Taylor were out. Really getting it done for these Browns, that defensive line.
A loss of 8. Kansas City has to go to their 41 for a first down, able to get a chunk of it back there. Moriaki with the catch, the tight end. Well, Jackson dropped him immediately after a pickup of 10.
And the Chiefs obviously throwing every down, and the Browns doing everything they can to either confuse Brady Quinn or drop into coverage and rush 4 guys and expect the ball to come out on time.
3rd and 8 for Kansas City. Quinn from the shotgun. Steps up, incomplete, in and out of the hands of Jamaal Charles. And the Chiefs will have to punt.
And that Jamaal Charles is disgusted with himself for not pulling that ball in right as he turned around and got in on him a little quick, looked a little late, but that ball comes right into him as he circles out to left, comes back across the formation. Quinn finds him right through his hands, right up across his face mask. He'll catch that ball 999 times out of 1,000.
And after punting away from Josh Cribbs, they bring out Cribbs and Travis Benjamin. Cribbs with some room. One of the best in NFL history. The ball came loose, but after he was ruled down. Brandon Seiler saved the touchdown. Big return from Cribbs. And again, the Browns good field position, a 38-yard return. Josh Cribbs with 11 total returns for touchdowns in his NFL career.
Yeah, in this second half, the Browns have run 23 offensive plays before this one. 19 of them have been in Chiefs territory.
So from the Kansas City 35-yard line, Richardson bounces it to the outside, then cuts back, and a nice pickup on 1st down. Down inside the 30 to the 29, Seiler made the stop.
One of the things we have not talked about today as Seiler takes a moment to get up is this offensive line of the Cleveland Browns. You look down at him with Ryan Lilja, Jeff Allen, I'm sorry, Alex Mack, Sean Laval, Schwartz, the rookie. They have stayed healthier than most NFL teams have, and they've got a lot of guys that have taken a lot of snaps together.
2nd and 4, Richardson. Nice bit of running from Trent Richardson. And a 1st down close to the 20.
As I talk about this offensive line, Richardson once again finds some running room. He's going to come right up through and then cut back. Just jumping, he's got such lateral explosiveness. Now this is a guy, Richardson, the thing you notice about him when you watch him a lot is he just never goes down with the first hit. He's got great balance, as I said earlier, and this offensive line, I think, has started to evolve a mindset where they understand the way he runs behind them.
Number 21, Richardson on the toss, great penetration from the Kansas City Chiefs. That was Derek Johnson, who was in the backfield in a hurry.
Well, we saw it earlier in the game as well. Just flying through right here. He's going to see it and just reads it so quickly. Alex Mack, the center, tried to get out and get a piece of him. He had no chance. Derek Johnson, I mean, you want to talk about a guy who leads by example. He's the guy.
Loss of 6. They spotted back at the 27 of the Kansas City Chiefs. 2nd and 16. Whedon, lots of time. Tried to hit Josh Gordon.
Yeah, Whedon looked all over the football field, came back to Gordon, saw that he was covered, and really just decided to try and gun it in. On this, I think Whedon loses the opportunity perhaps to break and get 8 or 9 yards with his feet. He decided the pocket went past him. He stepped up into it, had a lot of room ahead of him, and decided to try and force the throw for the completion rather than maybe getting some positive yards with his legs.
Tyson Hartman got a good jump on the ball, the rookie free agent out of Kansas State. And the Browns facing a 3rd and long, 3rd and 16. Whedon underneath, and that is Jordan Cameron, the tight end, who's a great athlete but well short of the 1st down, so we'll see the field goal unit. Jordan Cameron in his 2nd year out of USC, really started to emerge here in the second half of the season. Caught a touchdown pass 2 weeks ago in the win over the Steelers. Converted basketball player for Pete Carroll at USC. But we'll see Phil Dawson once again on 4th and 7. 35 yards out, and he's got it. And the Cleveland Browns add to their lead. It is now 30-7 with 9:04 left in the fourth. And we're back. Cleveland with 30 unanswered points since the Chiefs scored on the first play from scrimmage. 9:04 left to go in the fourth. 30-7 Cleveland. Phil Dawson ready to kick it away to Sean Drone back deep. Bobbled on the hop by Bellamy. And recovers to bring it back out to the 24-yard line. So Brady Quinn and the Chiefs trying to get something going on offense. Coming up on the Subway postgame show, join JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, Coach Cowher for all the latest NFL scores and highlights. That's all coming up on the Subway postgame show. As the Chiefs take over, 1st and 10, trailing 30-7 at their own 25-yard line. Quinn able to get rid of it to Charles. And he's brought down for a loss by Craig Robertson. And we have a marker down on the other side of the field.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 95, defense. 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
Call that on Jaquay Parker.
Watches when steps up. I don't know why. Parker comes up, he throws it, he doesn't hit him high. He doesn't follow him to the ground.
That's a tough call.
That's a tough call, and in this day and age, I guess you have to kind of shrug your shoulders.
Cleveland Browns have run 24 plays in this half in Kansas City territory. The Chiefs yet to get into Cleveland territory. Until now, Jamal Charles burst through.
I don't think there's any question the Chiefs have really missed Dwayne Bowe in the lineup. Their number 1 receiver. Charles, I don't think is 100%, although he's giving a Herculean effort here as they keep feeding him the football. Their offensive line is also nicked up.
Charles. Nice little spin move and falls forward to the 44-yard line.
A few minutes ago, I started talking about the Cleveland offensive line and started naming off these guys of the Chiefs offensive line, but you're Ryan Lilja, who's sitting there trying to put his shoe back on. He's a guard who got moved down to center when Rodney Hudson lost his season early on.
Playing center for the first time in his career,
now,
coming back after a knee injury last week.
That's right.
And now we've got a timeout on the field forced to be taken by Kansas City.
Kansas City, 30-second timeout.
And also Brandon Albert, their left tackle, is now sitting down. He's being taken over for by Donald Stevenson. And we spoke to that guy there, Eric Winston, yesterday, who's, you know, he said, I hate to say it because I was never an offensive lineman, but they're usually intelligent and articulate offensive linemen, and Eric Winston's no exception. He was a really interesting guy to talk to, had a certainly a great perspective on his team, where it sits now, and on the future.
And all they've had to deal with as a team over the last 8 days. It has been very difficult, and of course tremendous leadership provided by that man, Romeo Crennel. Things will never quite be the same for these players from the Kansas City Chiefs. Able to win last week, but struggling a bit today, trailing 30-7 with 7:50 left to go in the fourth. 2nd and 6. Sean Drone has checked in. He's in the backfield. Stays in to block. And that is caught. DeMar Newsome takes it inside the 20 and out of bounds at the 18. Pushed out by Tashawn Gibson, a gain of 25.
DeMar Newsome, who was with Jacksonville a year ago, making a nice move there to get out and bounce it out around screen.
First and 10 for Kansas City. Quinn from the gun. Charles in the backfield, stays in the block, then releases. He lofts it, incomplete. And Newsom was not turned around. He was headed for the goal line.
Yeah, Quinn knows they had it open, but I think this is a miscommunication and mistimed route. I don't think these two have had enough opportunity to run this route. You see there, Newsom ran the route, perfect, came open, but it has to be released so early that Quinn kind of has to guess where he's going to be rather than know, because in my estimation, they haven't thrown that pass enough to be good at it.
Newsom came in with just 2 catches for 14 yards in his first year out of Central Florida, so second and 10 for Kansas City. Other side, again going for Newsom and incomplete. He was well covered by Joe Hayden. The Browns are a very different team with Joe Hayden in the lineup. 0-5 without him, 4-3, and on the verge of 5-3 when he's been on the field.
Well, you can see there, I mean, he just hit the referee. He's got a sense of humor about it, but Joe Hayden, so athletic, and I think too, so confident as a corner. It really makes an enormous difference as there's an illegal substitution now in Kansas City.
Offensive huddle, Kansas City. The 12 players were in the huddle prior to the quarterback backing out. 5-yard penalty, still third down.
You see this last pass from Quinn went out of bounds. The official, he's not watching. It goes right on the noggin. Yeah, at least he got it right. It was incomplete.
I'll tell you, that's focus. So 3rd and 15 after the penalty for 12 men on the field. Finally able to get rid of it, and that's caught by Copper at the 16-yard line. That'll bring up 4th down, a gain of 7.
I know that I'm probably not telling the Kansas City Chiefs fans watching today too much, but I think if this team gets better, if the Chiefs want to get better, they have to have better play at the quarterback position for 16 games.
So 4th and 8 for Kansas City. Quinn avoided the initial pressure, but finally went down. Jaquay Parker with the sack. And it will go over to Cleveland on downs with 6:20 left to play in the 4th. Browns take over from their own 24. Richardson scores through to the 30. The Browns are 4-3 over their last 7 games, looking for their 3rd straight win. And last week in Oakland, won on the road for the first time in a year, snapping a 12-game road losing streak. So things certainly looking up for the Cleveland Browns.
Reporting is eligible. 75 is eligible.
As you see here, have you heard there? The Cleveland Browns bring in an extra offensive lineman.
O'Neal Cousins in his 5th year out at UTEP. He's eligible in this formation.
Lined up as a tight end.
Middle, Richardson. It'll take us inside of 5.5 minutes remaining in the 4th.
And when the Browns do this, it is obvious what their plan is. They're going to get the big guys out, hand the ball to Richardson, and try and wear down the Chiefs' defense with the running game, kill the clock. It's called a 4-minute offense. What that means is the players are instructed, do not go out of bounds, make sure the clock runs, and use every bit of the play clock to wear the clock down and take the opportunity away from your opponent.
Gordon in motion on 3rd and 4. Short drop. It's out to Josh Gordon. Let's see. Looks like his forward progress is going to be short of the first down. Jaleel Brown drove him out of bounds, and that will bring out the punting unit.
Yeah, the reason they keep the clock running in this situation and don't stop it because he went out of bounds, because he was going backwards out of bounds. He was hit there by Brown, who knocks him backwards, and even though he ran out of bounds, he was going backwards, and his forward progress was inbounds, and and that's why the clock keeps running.
Here, Arenas standing back at the 26-yard line, getting the punt from Hodges. Play clock run down. Oh, a terrific punt, and this is bobbled, and finally Arenas able to fall on it, scoop it back up. And that was a 54-yard punt. Take a look at the AFC playoff picture here in week 14. Houston, Denver, and New England are all in. Indianapolis is leading, and the Steelers in real trouble against San Diego. Cincinnati right in the mix there.
That gives you an idea also of what it's like here in Cleveland. They're in a division with Pittsburgh, Baltimore, and Cincinnati. A little bit of an extra uphill. I think it's the most competitive division in the NFL, and Cleveland's trying to rebuild amid that atmosphere.
Quinn, who's been sacked 4 times today, flushed from the pocket, and finally throws it out of bounds. Really missing Dwayne Bowe, who left the game with a rib injury earlier.
They are. You need all your weapons intact if you're the Kansas City Chiefs on every game. But in a game when you're playing a defense that's hitting on all cylinders and is completely healthy like the Cleveland Browns, not only do you need all your weapons in place, you need them to be playing well. And the Chiefs right now don't have either.
Sean Drone in the backfield. He releases. They try to hit him, but incomplete. Take a look back at the Cleveland Browns defense today. They've done a nice job outside of the opening play from scrimmage.
Yeah, that's the tipped interception and the sacks on Quinn. He's been held in the pocket as well. Really, for as good an athlete as Quinn is, they have not allowed him to run very much either, make and extend plays. When he's either had to throw the football or take the sack. He has not had any room to run.
3rd and 10. Quinn under pressure again and sacked. And that was a surge led by Jabal Sheard.
Yeah, and that's this big defensive line. The pocket just collapsed, just a 4-man rush. And just Sheard just wriggling and powering his way through the gap in the offensive line. And Quinn just has to swallow the ball and take the sack.
Sheard, another one of those young guys who has really come on for the Cleveland Browns. 2nd-round pick last year out of Pittsburgh. Colquitt from his own end zone has to punt it away. Cribbs had to get to the other side of the field, but upended. And that was Josh Bellamy. Let's take a look at the NFC playoff picture. Things are a little tighter over there. Washington is trailing. Atlanta has clinched the division. San Francisco battling. The Green Bay Packers are battling, and so are the Giants at 7-5.
Only one team that's even clinched a playoff spot, and that's the Falcons, who have also won their division. Everybody else still fighting tooth and nail right at around 500.
Brandon Whedon done for the day. Colt McCoy has come in with 3:07 left to go in the 4th. Hardesty is the back, and they give it to him on 1st down.
Once again, it's rare for a young quarterback to play so well that he gets to take the last part of the 4th quarter off.
He may have had one of those coming-of-age moments when he led the Browns 94 yards with that 14-play 4th quarter drive for what turned out to be the winning score last week in Oakland. We talked to Brandon. He felt that that was the Browns' best drive all season.
Not only that, it was a turning point, I think, as well. Josh Gordon told us before that drive began inside their own 10-yard line, the players in the huddle were talking like this is an opportunity, is a moment for them, and they came through with flying colors.
2nd and 7. Hardesty into Kansas City territory, and the clock continues to run. Andy Studebaker made the stop, and that will more than likely take us to the 2-minute warning.
Well, this is the kind of power offense the Browns want to have and to put this game away.
2 minutes left to play in the 4th. The Browns lead it 30-7. 2 minutes to play in the 4th on this rainy afternoon here in Cleveland. The Browns on their way to 5-8. Chiefs will drop to 2-11. Hardesty trying to reverse it back and will lose a yard as the clock continues to run.
And in this case, no need for Kansas City to start calling their timeouts. Getting the ball back is not going to help them, so perfectly willing to play these plays as they happen.
Browns will win their 3rd in a row. And they've found a nice little rhythm on both sides of the football.
Well, they're young players, and this is a young roster. Their young players have begun to get so much experience and so much more confident that it's showing, and it's manifesting itself in better play and stringing better and better plays together for longer periods of time.
McCoy takes a knee, and coming up on the Subway postgame show, join JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Cowher for all the latest NFL scores and highlights. That's all coming up on the Subway postgame show. Another win for Brandon Weeden, who adds to his total as a starter. 5th win here in his rookie season. Another very productive day for Josh Gordon. 8 catches for 86 yards. McCoy takes the knee again, and that will be it. Romeo Crennel, another step in this difficult process for Romeo and the Kansas City Chiefs, trying to get things back to where they feel normal again. Shaking hands with Pat Shurmur. Things looking up for the Cleveland Browns. 5-8. As the Browns win it 30-7. And coming up next, it's the Subway postgame show. For Steve Tasker, this is Bill McAtee saying so long from Cleveland. You've been watching the NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl 47.